Well, how's everyone doing tonight? I'm actually, I scheduled this earlier in the day, and I didn't think I was gonna be so tired. I've been here for probably about 10 and a half hours, 11 hours right now, so I'm pretty exhausted. But the idea with this stream was going to be where I had 3 different laptops that are having some sort of board repair issue, and I was going to let you guys pick. So I put the 3 different models inside the video description, and then that way we'll run a poll in a second and figure out which one you want me to work on. One's an XPS, one's an Alienware probably, and one's a G-Series. So anyway, so we'll figure it out. I haven't looked at them. I don't really know what's up with them, but we'll figure it out together, and that way it's kind of fun to mess around with this stuff. I don't think we'll have time to finish it, but Soren, if you've been watching any of Soren's videos, he's done a few live streams on fixing these things live, and I thought that would be kind of fun to do what he was doing. So, well, it looks like there's still 85% saying no buffering, so I think we're okay. G-Series, you want to see a G-Series? Oh, no, one's an Inspiron, one's a G-Series, and one's a XPS. That's what it is. So I don't have any Alienwares today. No Alienwares. So I'll end this poll since I think we're saying we're pretty good with the stream, right? Pick one that smells burnt. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to end this poll, and we'll do a new poll. No Alienwares, that's impossible. Yes, I do have a few Alienwares in the queue, but I didn't put them in this thing because I work on so many Alienwares. And the main thing, when you think about it, the reason why I'm working on Alienwares is because they cost a lot of money and they're worth a lot of money. So that's why I fix those a lot. But I mean, I have an Inspiron in this pile, and an Inspiron motherboard's not worth repairing, except that this person needs to repair it because they don't have their BitLocker key. So it's stored in their BIOS, and so it's essential that I fix the board so then they can access their files. So that can be kind of fun. But let's do a poll. And let me pull up the 3 models. I can't remember what they are. Oh, yeah, I can add options. Okay, I didn't know. I've never done polls on here before, so we're going to just say an XPS 9510, a Inspiron 7791, and a G-Series 5511. And the last one, okay, this is a no post. Okay. Oh gosh, come on, people. These poll, you can't. There's a character limit. Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. Okay, polls out. Bugs. Oh, so you guys saw the video. Oh my God, that's the worst. Okay, so that video was ridiculous. When I was working on that machine, you can't, I mean, the smell was so bad, and it's like, I grew up in a house that had a lot of cats, so I'm used to cat pee, and then I actually grew up in a house with German roaches, so I'm used to German roaches. None of that stuff really bothered me, but it was just like the smell was so intense, and I'm like, why am I working on this computer? It's not even worth the amount of money that they're going to spend to fix it. And I was like on the fence with even doing it, but it was actually another repair shop that brought it in, and they didn't know there was anything wrong with it, but and so when I was working on it, it was like smelling so bad. And then once I was like, oh, I saw some cockroach legs and bodies, and I was like, that's not a big deal. You know, I was kind of making jokes about it. But once I saw all those bugs under there, I didn't know that there were bed bugs. But when I flipped it up and I was like, oh my gosh, And then I talked to someone later, and we looked it up, and we're like, yeah, those are bed bugs. And everyone's saying, oh, they're not bed bugs, they're like German roaches or something. But because we're under the microscope, they're huge, and so they look really big. So anyway, it was pretty nasty. It was a cringe, yep. I'm kind of playing around with the idea I might like cast the thing in resin. I still actually have it. I haven't thrown it in the dumpster yet, but I need to maybe cast it in resin and you know, keep it as some sort of like monument of something. What kind of smell? It was a cat pee. So if you've smelled cat pee. Oh, okay. What do we got? The Inspiron has 52%. So the Inspiron's the one that has the BitLocker. They want me to fix it so then they can get access to their data. The other two are just regular, like, these don't work, you know. I have a feeling that the Inspiron's going to be a BIOS issue, which means that it's kind of it's useless to fix it, because if I have to rewrite the BIOS, then they'll lose the BitLocker key. So it has to be an actual component issue. So that, you know, it has to be some sort of problem with some sort of startup chip. But smack it with a hammer. Let's see. Bed bugs are the worst. Yeah, and I've never experienced bed bugs before, and I've heard that you can't get rid of them. They don't really, they're resistant to chemicals and stuff like that. You like my equipment and workspace? Well, thank you. I wish I could show y'all I guess I did have some sort of wide shot at this at some point, but and I'm playing around with having a few different scenes here. I've been working on just kind of adding a few more scenes so we can chat and still have the chat up there, or we can go back to our regular stuff here. And what I'm using to do all my switching, most people would think I'm using a Elgato or something. I actually am using this 10-year-old, let's do overhead here. I'm using a 10-year-old Dell tablet that is running like Android 5 or something like that. And this open source software called MacroDeck. MacroDeck? Yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, then you can lay out your buttons and program and interfaces with all sorts of stuff. So that way I can just make my own buttons and then have it run OBS. Everyone wants this Inspiron, huh? Let's see. Alienware has no power issue. The service guy said burnt the whole motherboard. I don't know about burnt the whole motherboard. There's going to be some sort of component on the board on these on an M15 like that, and it's probably just I mean, it could be a shorted high-side MOSFET on the CPU or GPU, but let's see. Please, what is the item called that shows the volts and amps? My Dell power meter. This guy. Let's see. This guy. This is a. Is this what you're talking about? This is the thing I made. I had a live stream on how I built these, but this is just a 3D printed case with a voltmeter in it. Didn't I build one of these the other day? And you can just get this from Amazon. I have a link in the video description, maybe, but it's on Thingiverse. You can download the plans, and then this is just a little screen you install in there. Yeah, that's true. You could just use a laptop to catch the bed bugs. It looks like you found the source of how to catch bed bugs. Yeah, I heard that there's like some things where you can go into a hotel and just put like there's this heat thing you put on the mattress, and it like sucks all the, or it doesn't suck them, but all the bed bugs will go up to it because it's attracted to heat. No post could be anything. That is 100% true. You built this? Yes, I built this. I mean, I've built tons of stuff in my life. This is pretty simple. My first version is a lot uglier than this. Okay, it looks like Inspiron it is. You've learned so much from me. Fix the bad BIOS yourself. Really? Wow, good job. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm learning every day myself. I'm self-taught. There's nobody who taught me how to do all this stuff. I just kind of figure it out and watch YouTube videos and stuff like that. But I've been working on these machines for many years, so. Fix the one that needs some sort of soldering. Love watching my steady hands. Let's see. Am I steady? I don't know. I've been here for a long time today. It's about 11 hours in, so I'm pretty exhausted. You like the way that I communicate. I try to talk or speak in a very clear way without using big words and talking over people's heads. I hate it when someone just tries to say things just to make them sound smart, and that's not what I'm here for. But I do get stuck saying the same thing over and over again. People complain about my, what do I say? Let's go ahead, and I always say that a lot. And then the other one is, let's do this real quick. So, well, it's just, you know, I'm not a public speaker. I'm not good at speaking in front of people at all. I don't, and I do the best I can, so. You bought a M16R2, and 2 days later, Windows 11 updated the BIOS, and the command center and support assist no longer works. Oh my God, it's a real pain. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's annoying. Did you ever try to replace a GPU or CPU once it was broken? No, I didn't. And I've actually been watching this other guy, was it Black Horse Repair? One of you guys told me about him, and he has like a machine, you know, he's paid. I don't want to pay thousands of dollars for a machine and then just like have what's the odds of you actually replacing the GPU and it working? I don't know. To me, it's just a waste of time. Especially, you know, the motherboard would have to be worth, you know, $1,000 or $2,000 or something like that in order for it to be worth. You never notice those phrases, really. If you look through the comments, people complain about it. They say, why don't you just stop saying, let's go ahead and I said, I'll go ahead and think about that. But this last time somebody was saying that I used the term, I'll do it real quick all the time. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice. And now I'm kind of paying attention. Yep, shout out to Black Horse. Okay, Inspiron it is. I'll stop the poll. I think we got enough out of that. Is it going to tell us the percentages for the rest? 28% for the XPS. No, you got it. Oh, some people just want to talk to me. I'll have to do a just talk at some point, or just, you know, have a conversation. I think Soren does like a Sunday morning one of those, doesn't he? All right, let's grab this guy. And this one's in pieces because my other tech already looked at this and determined it needed another motherboard. Determined the motherboard was bad. And these things are cheap enough, or inexpensive enough, however you want to phrase it, right, to just replace the motherboard. But because they need that BitLocker key, we need to try to fix it. And so we're going to have to kind of reassemble it just so we can look at it and see what it's actually doing. So we can kind of get a blank game plan. Platform Controller Hub / chipset, PCH. You know, is that what PCH stands for? I didn't even know. That's funny. Platform Controller Hub. Makes sense. That's what it's doing. It's controlling the platform. The Gooch you sent, oh yeah. Yeah, I sent Gooch to the Gooch collector, and he sent me back a screen with a hole in it. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. Chat about hardware hacking. I don't generally do much hardware hacking besides if you count like BIOS work. Yeah, coffee talk. I actually have some coffee in my cup right here. Yeah. It's cold brew though. I needed a little kick. All right, so we're going to partially just reassemble this real quick. And hopefully my tech diagnosed this properly. Man, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that, Dennis. Greetings from Italy. Oh, you just ordered some parts for your Precision 7560 UHD and IR upgrade. Appreciate that. Hello from Japan. Hello from Morocco. Okay, I'm getting this together. Any tips to on how to make opening? Oh, opening a 17R4, not the M17, right? The older one. Make it less miserable. You're talking about that middle frame that takes a billion screws. I mean, I could take one of those apart with my eyes closed, but I don't like to. It's not fun. Sorry, I'm trying to find the screws. I don't know where the screws are. Where are you? We usually store them on a magnet, and I'm not seeing them in the bin. Luckily, I have a tub of screws right here. Hello from Ukraine. Wow. And Spain, and India, and Canada, around the world. All right, if you just got here, we just ran a poll, and we're fixing an Inspiron. What model is it again, guys? I can't remember. 5591? 7791. That the customer does not have their BitLocker key, and so we need to fix the motherboard so we can access the BitLocker key that's on the motherboard to access their data. Hello from New Zealand and Brazil. That's a big tub of screws. You know where all these screws came from? Every computer I work on, I don't put one screw back in here and they all go in this bin. I'm just kidding. This has been a long time building this collection here, but I keep grabbing the wrong screw because I'm paying attention to you guys. Hello from Georgia, the U.S. Georgia, though. A box of shame. You know, if you've worked on enough computers or laptops and you put it back together and you're like, what? Why do I have an extra screw here? Hello from Iraq. They're not missing any screws. They have extra screws. Okay, I don't want to put too many screws in here. I'm just trying to make it where nothing falls out here. I'm actually not sure how to donate. I've never participated like that. But one of these guys I'm sure can tell you. Yeah, so if you're a mechanic, you know the exact same thing. You'll have a big bucket of bolts there and you're like, I don't know. It's take a screw, leave a screw, right? Like the penny bin at the convenience store. How's the weather here? How's the weather here? Today it's actually pleasant. I think it's like 90. Does that sound pleasant to anyone? 90? Which is, what is that in Celsius? 27 or something? No, 27 is too low. Maybe it's 30 something. I don't know Celsius versions that much. I just know that 104 is 40. I know that, and it's been 104 a couple times this year so far. I'm down in Austin, Texas, so It's one of those cities where people come and visit for ACL and they visit for South by Southwest, and those are the best times of the year where so the weather's like beautiful, and then they're like, oh, I want to move here, and then they move here, and then they witness the summer, and they're just like, oh my gosh, thanks for the donation, DJ and JFix. Okay, we got this partially back together. I got one stick of memory in here. And the battery's plugged in, the screen's plugged in. And this one has a barrel jack on the side, right here. And my power box has both connections. So you can see, it has the big one and the small one. And I know in the live stream I told you don't even worry about putting this on because some computers don't have it. Well, this one does. So we're gonna plug it in. I gotta switch views so you can see the actual power box. And so do you see how much current we're pulling right here? This is what we're looking for. So got 40 milliamps. And 40 milliamps is kind of a weird number. I'm going to unplug it again and then plug it back in. I just want to see how quickly it goes up to that number. That's kind of what I look for. And that time, yeah, there it goes. See how it was delayed though? It stayed at 0 for a while and then jumped up to 40 milliamps. All right, 33C is this hot? 33C is going to be 90 degrees, right? Yep. I'm going to unplug the battery. I want to see if that actually changes whether it's like trying to charge the battery or something. So, all right, so 0.04. I'm going to plug it back in. We're going to wait. And it didn't delay that long. So sometimes what I'm looking for is I'm trying to figure out if it's actually triggering something on to actually send that current over there, or if it's just, it should instantaneously go to 0.01, then 0.02 to turn on the LDO, which is that linear voltage regulator that powers the EC chip. And the EC chip is that microcontroller. It just kind of runs a loop of code, and it's monitoring key presses, like on your keyboard and stuff, and the power button. And that's where you're trying to figure out if it's going to trigger it on or not. So I opened the lid as the other thing because it monitors that too. And so I'm looking at the current on there to see if it changes, and that's not doing anything, right? And then I'm going to press the power button and see if it changes. And I thought the notes said that it does power on, but it doesn't post. Do we have a power button that we need to plug in? So the power button cable's right here. It's all plugged in. That's the keyboard backlight. That's the keyboard connection. Touchpad. We have this other ribbon cable connection there. But so this has this stupid little junction board. The way they make these machines is this motherboard can go in a 14-inch sometimes, a 15-inch, and a 17-inch, and then they just use this daughter board to connect it to have the ports on the side. So that way, it's, you know, you're able to make one computer into 3. So, so why is it not turning on at all? We're not even getting any signal. And let me read the customer's note again. And then I'll have to read my tech notes too. But 0.04, pressing the power button, nothing's happening. Oh, maybe it powers on battery. Yeah, let's do that. Let's check that real quick. Let's check it real quick. Yeah, it's funny now that they mentioned that I say that real quick. It's like that Seinfeld episode where Elaine, you know, is like, nothing bothers me, and then you said, hey, big head, and then next thing you know, she has that in her head all the time. I'm like, but we got to figure out if this battery actually has charge, so we're gonna check the voltage on that. 7.7 volts. What is this, a 2-cell? Yeah, it's a 2-cell battery. It's 7.6 is nominal voltage, so that means 60% charge will be right around 7.6. So 7.7 puts us right around, you know, 60-something% charge. So it does have battery charge. Press the power button. And what I don't like about doing it off the battery is that, you know, you can't tell if it's actually powering on. There's no meter to be reading, so. Hello from New Zealand and Sweden. Yeah, it's not powering off the battery. Okay, well, this one's broken. Next one. What do I need to check first? Let me read his notes though, because I thought that it said it turned on. So I got to cover up the customer's information here. Okay. When the power button, when I push the power button, the light by the DC jack blinks for a second, then goes off. Oh, that's different. Let's look at that. So this light right here they're talking about. Oh, can we get it in the camera? Okay, I'm going to press it. I don't see it doing that. Yeah, my gas DC chip. Yep, you're right. That's exactly what I was thinking too. But it's not doing that, so I don't really... Let me unplug the CMOS battery and do it again. I feel like something's hot over here, but I don't think it is. 40 milliamps is not enough to make anything hot. Yeah, I don't see it lighting up. Let's do USB-C. Let's do that. Do I have enough digits on my USB-C meter? That was another complaint. Like, come on, people. Just get over it. Okay. Plugged it in, 20 volts. So negotiated 20 volts is still pulling about the 40 milliamp, 37 milliamps. Lid open. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there. I'm plugging the batteries. I'm just seeing if it changes. We're just going to go through it all again. What else we got here? The reason why this does not work is because it's broken. What is the worst thing that you found in an electronic device? What do you mean, like bed bugs? Kathy? That's the worst thing. You saw the digit complaint too? Yes. And I actually worked a little while trying to like go, okay, let me refactor this. And I mean, because here's the app that's pulling out of. Can y'all see that? Crazy screen, sorry. So this is the app it's pulling out of, and I just have it where I'm using OBS to kind of pull that, pull that, pull that. And then I put it on the screen up here, right? And then I have it as a toggle button where I can turn it on and off and just kind of replace, you know, my power meters depending upon which one I'm using. But to sit there and go through and like cover up those digits because they bother somebody, I'm like, come on, I can't handle that. Okay, so this one's completely dead, and I'm thinking it probably is some sort of EC issue too. So these boards are going to be turn on immediately when you plug the power in because of the way that the EC chip is set up. The BIOS will have an EC region that will rewrite the EC chip. And if it was like an Alienware or something like that, then when you plugged it in, it wouldn't turn on because the EC chip is hard written, and then you have to actually hit the power button to turn it on. Yeah, dead croc. Those dead cockroaches, one I saw you up close and hurt, were blurry. Yeah. Was it blurry? What? Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to pull this board out real quick. Real quick. Again. And I have to warn you, I mean, my brain is tired right now, so hopefully I'm going to be able to keep up with this, doing this for you. I might not be able to perform. I might have to finish this tomorrow. What else we got? A lot of EC issues on Dell. No. I mean, gaming laptops, the Alienwares, I see a lot of, I mean, there's just firmware issues in general. It's funny because maybe it's about 30% of the repairs are firmware related. So I don't know if that I guess that's a lot, but because firmware would count as like the BIOS too. I mean, so I have about 40 videos recorded right now that still needs to be edited because I can't keep up with editing and to get them uploaded. And I probably have, I don't know, another 6 or 7 BIOS ones. So I'm just sprinkling those in because I don't, you know, there's only so many of those you want to see unless you find them interesting. We got some signatures on here. So somebody looked at it already. This actually, I think, came from a repair shop. Wait, what EC chip is this? Oh. Okay, no, this one should be self-programming, right? Pretty sure it is. I've never seen one of these have it where it doesn't automatically program, because these systems always do CMOS resets, and so you should be able to just unplug it and plug it back in, and it will rewrite it. What's that? Is that just a marker? Should we just start out with a physical inspection? How much was my microscope? I don't know, $1,300 or something like that. I mean, that's with the cameras and all that stuff. I have a link in the video, not in this video description, but in all my other videos, I have links to the microscope. I would make sure to buy a better camera though, because the camera it came with, it was an AmScope camera and it used a proprietary app and it sucked. And so I had to like do a screen grab of that app and it was always delayed and the resolution wasn't that good. So I bought this one on AliExpress, but I can't find one of these like on Amazon. So I linked to another one that's basically the same one. So, okay, so what are we looking for real quick? God, okay. What are we looking at here? Here's the power management chip. Here's the power stages for the CPU. Thunderbolt chip. Where's the... Should we just check to see if there's any power rails shorted? I need to do that real quick too. What do y'all want? Okay. Am I the owner of Parts People? Yes. Yes, I'm the founder. Started this out of my house when I was 21 years old. And I grew it. And it takes a long time. Sorry, I will do my best of working and talking, speaking. Inspiron boards are not used in Latitudes. Nope. Now, what you'll have, if you want a crossover brand, so Latitudes are going to be business machines, but you'll have Vostros as some Latitudes, Precisions as Latitudes, XPSs as Latitudes, and then in Inspirons you'll have Vostros as a crossover, but that's it. Vostro, or whatever you want to say. They're horrible machines. They're just cheap. 2.2 ohms, is that too low? Anybody? Yeah, I'll check the LDO in a second, sorry. So the reason why these are low is because that's actually probably the CPU, or no, that's the GPU and this is the CPU. So that's not too low. Yeah, let's find the LDO in here. I'm gonna have JFix do this whole thing for me. You tell me what to do next. I don't know where the LDO is on this board. I never work on Inspiron, so it's not like something I can go, oh, okay, it's over here. So there's the power management chip, which that one will have a 5-volt VDD. Where are you? Oh. You want the board number? I'm sure y'all can pull that up if you wanted to. Oh, it's not a compound board, huh? So it's a Jetty 1517 junker. I have no idea where the LDO is. All right, I'm just going to figure out where the voltage is going, and it will probably help me out a little bit. If you're in Australia, you can't send it in because I can't warranty it. You cannot do repairs outside the United States because the shipping costs too much, and so it's not worth it. So if you have a 15R3, one of those machines costs on eBay, I don't know, $400 or something. So it's not worth it, you know. All right, so we're negotiating 20 volts, and where is and here's our PD controller. 3.3, so that would be the LDO is probably in that already, right? Probably doesn't have a separate one. I mean, this has a DC jack, so it also will have a separate LDO, but I don't know where that one is. And where's our 20 volt? Weird. What about over here? $12.5. So that's the main voltage for this board is going to be 12.5. Break out the infrared camera. Yeah, I can do that shortly. If we need to. I mean, I guess we could figure out what's pulling 40 milliamps, but I'm assuming it's going to be this right here, right? The EC chip. That's what it should be. Huh. $2.2 volts. That's a weird value. $3.3. $1 volt. I mean, all that's looking fine. LDO pin 17 on the PU 4501. Where's 4501? $4401. Yeah, pin 17, that's on the power management, right? Because I know we should have 20 here. Should have 20 there. We should have 20 on this line also. And then this one's usually 5 for the VDD, right? Come on. Yep, 5's there. And then this is the ACN. Yeah, this is usually 3.7, and we got 3.9, so that's fine. Yeah, to me it looks like, you know, all the power's fine. I don't know about the other power rails coming up or not. So we have our 10.8 on this, but this is the battery connector. This is for battery charging, so that's strange that they would have that on there with no battery connected. We have our 5 volt is up and running. What's this one? It's probably 3.3. What do you think? 3.3. So we have our 3 up, our 5 up. And there's battery voltage. I mean, the main power rail's up and running. So what does that mean to you? To me, I know what it means, but What are you guys thinking? I'm going to pull the battery out again. I just want to plug it in and see if it charges. So right now I'm seeing every power rail. I'm seeing the 3 volt, the 5 volt. I'm seeing the 10, I'll see the charge voltage, but let me see if it charges. It wasn't charging earlier. And we're putting 12 volts on the battery, which is kind of high, considering this is a 2-cell battery. So there's an issue. Yeah, BIOS is what I'm thinking, correct. But since now we're seeing this, I don't know if that changes anything, right? Because this should not usually, I mean, usually the battery coil, charge coil, does not have active voltage on it all the time. And so I'm getting 10.8 with the battery unplugged. Now when I plug it in, I'm getting 12 volts. I'm getting our main power rail voltage to the battery, which would be fine if the battery was a 3-cell. But it's a 2-cell. What do you think about that? Do you think we have a MOSFET that's stuck open on the charge circuit? Usually it shorts out the AC adapter when that happens. But what MOSFETs are running this? So we have the power management chip. I mean, I don't see, oh, it's these guys. So do you think one of these are shorted open? Or this one, actually, I guess it would be that one. Not open, closed, whatever, you know, connected, shorted. Yeah, shorted MOSFET, that's what I'm thinking now. Now, I don't know if that would, if the power management chip would be detecting that, or an EC chip, or whatever it is. And that would prevent the board from coming on, but I'm not seeing a short here. That one, that's reverse voltage, so I just said it was shorted for a second. If I go back this way, it'll do that same thing. Excuse me. That one's fine. That one's fine. Huh. Why are we getting 10.8 volts on the charge coil without a battery plugged in? And then when we plug it in, we get the full voltage on there. The injector in number 6 cylinder is low. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yes, I'm asking you, JFix. Come on, buddy. Soren, where are you? It's funny, JFix, you were on Soren's streams too and saying all this stuff too, right? I love it. I love it. It doesn't make me have to think. All right, let's just... I don't see why it would be like this, but it is a strange one. Because usually when I see main power rail voltage on this connector right here, it's just, oh, yeah, it's the MOSFET that goes there, but I'm not seeing that. So there has to be a easy pizza solution. And it's funny, because if this is a BIOS issue, just so you know, we could stop now, because the BitLocker key is what they're trying to save. And I mean, all I could do is back up their BIOS and then rewrite it, and then, ooh, it works. But then they won't have their BitLocker. So yeah, I don't know at this point. I don't know. Let me get the DC jack. I want to plug it in with just using a regular DC jack instead of the USB and see if we get anything different. Oh, did I? No, I didn't, Richard. I did not complete physical inspection. Oh, tisk, tisk. Let's do it. Let's go in. Coming in hot. Should I take this off too? We'll take off the heatsink. So we will do our physical inspection, which we did not do. Anything hotter than usual, there's not enough milliamps for it to get hot. Now we can put it under the thermal camera, but 40 milliamps is nothing. Check, yeah, check the EC chip. There was that 2.2 volts on there, which is the only thing I thought was kind of strange. You know, I can go grab another one of these motherboards from stock because I have them in stock, and then we can use that as the test voltages, which is super convenient. Look at this heatsink. It has a pit. It has a pit where the chipset goes. And then it has a big fat pad. Do you think this thing has a really hot chipset? Is that all scraped in there? Why does it have a big fat pad on that chipset? That's weird. That's weird. Yeah, 2.2 is way wrong. Yes, I mean, so maybe the 2.2 could be the issue that we're seeing on here. But let's just do that physical inspection and get that over with. Okay. I'll start in this corner. Because if somebody opened it, you know, we can look on the edge to see if there's any ripped chips off of here. I don't know what started the people needing to get it repaired, because I wish people would tell the story. I was using the laptop and then it just turned off, or I threw it in my bag, or whatever it is, you know. But sometimes it's more like it doesn't work. But I've also complained about the same thing. Whenever they tell me too much stuff, then I start kind of going down that rabbit hole, and then I don't, you know, just follow my regular routine. So we already checked those. This is the charge circuit. The back of the CPU. I mean, our power rails are up and running, so it's going to be something very, very simple. It could be just a resistor that's missing somewhere. Or it's going to be a firmware issue. Or that MOSFET, maybe, you know. Yeah, I'll probably end up putting the thermal camera on it just to see if it is that EC chip turning on. That side looks fine. What do you think? I should work on this board for like 3 hours, like Soren did the other day on the machine that's not even worth that much? What's that? Is that a marker or is that a burn mark? I think it's a marker. See if I can get it in focus right for you guys. I think that's a marker. I only work on Dell laptops. I do not work on Asus. Dell and Alienware. That's all I work on. So VRAM's right here. GPU. I think we checked these already. Those are the power stages. They were at 2.2, which is a super beefy GPU. It should be a lot lower than that if the GPU was actually any good. That's a marker. Realtek chip, Thunderbolt chip. That's it. That's all she wrote. It's a tiny little board. Oh, is that a marker again? What is that? Yeah, it's just a marker. Someone went Sharpie crazy. Because it looks like a burn, but it's just a marker. Okay. So we're going back to the EC chip? What are we doing? Are we doing thermal camera? I'm going to set up the thermal camera. Just for fun. Doesn't the BIOS flash the EC chip corrupted by? Yes, it does. Where's the BIOS chip on this? Well, we can make sure the BIOS chip's getting voltage too. There is our BIOS chip. And pin 8 should be our 3.3. So BIOS chip's on. So kind of the way it works is you on these boards, because the EC chip is not hard written to, I guess, it's written through the BIOS. Right as you plug it in, it will turn on that BIOS chip and then executes the code if it doesn't have anything in there. Thermal camera, that's what we were doing. So let me turn that on real quick. All right, so it just plugs into my cell phone. It's this Flare 1 Pro, and then I just screencast it over to the computer. So we will use, let's see. It's loading. It's thinking about it. It's going to be an open resistor somewhere, yes. And if it is, I quit already. Without signs of it, like obvious signs, it's going to be hard to find. Okay, where are we at? So I'm thinking this is what's going to be hot. Is that what everyone else is thinking? Because I guess the LDO's internal to the USB-C chip. All right, here we go. It got warm. We got some reflections too, but I'm just trying to get it at an angle so you can't tell. I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in. Yep. Back on. I mean, that's about as much heat as you're going to get for 40 milliamps. There's not, I mean, that's not very much. Oh, the chipset's on too. Yep, chipset, EC chip's on. All the power rails are up. What's the problem? Ah, it's a BIOS. It's a BIOS, man. Now I don't know why that would explain this battery connector having the wrong voltage on it, but similar to yesterday's video, exactly. Now, you know, I have to back up his BIOS. We can do this if you want. I mean, should we do it? It's going to be fun. I don't know. It doesn't take that long. This is not a very big BIOS chip, so it won't like take forever to read it. Let's see how. Yeah, it's 256. Well, it's bigger. It's 32 megs. So it will take, I don't know, a minute for each poll. Do it. Should we do a poll, or is everyone just going to say do it? You could swap a donor, but I like the programming. So if I just pull the programming off, then we can kind of play around with putting a new one on there, and then see if it works. The client can get the BitLocker key elsewhere. He's been trying, he said. That's why they are sending it over to me, because they're like, well, we can't find the BitLocker key because they can't find which Microsoft account it was on. Maybe it's cleared in store. No, it's not. I haven't figured out how to do the BitLocker thing. I've been doing these experiments where I'm taking an image of the BIOS with no BitLocker installed. Then I'm installing BitLocker, or I have the Windows install on there, and then I enable BitLocker. And then I compare the two BIOS files, and then I start moving over sections of it, breaking it into pieces, and then moving sections over until I get it to go. And I haven't got it to work without transferring the entire BIOS. So it's eventually I'll figure out what section it is, but it might be multiple sections, and then you have these things, you know, it might be tied to hardware IDs or something like that. Am I an IT technician? I don't know, I'm working on stuff right now. You can call me that. Self-proclaimed everything. All right, so we'll do it. I'll pull, we're gonna use this guy right here, and I'll just pull the BIOS contents. And I'll use this Pogo pen reader. This is for the 5x6 because this is a 5x6 chip. What GPU is on this laptop? Something that has 2.2 ohms on the driver ICs. This is a N17S G2A1, which is probably like what, a 1050 or something? I don't know. Could be even older than that. Someone else put that in the chat. N17S G2A1. All right, so like I said, we're going to use this as a Pogo pen reader, if everyone hasn't seen these yet. But basically, these little pins come out, and they're going to push down onto the pins on the chip, so I don't have to pull the chip off. And, or hopefully I don't have to pull the chip off. Sometimes you have to, or sometimes you have to power the board. I mean, each chip's a little bit different. I just put a black marker, Sharpie mark on here for my pen 1, and then pen 1's a dot on here. So I just press down, and let me get you to a screen where you can see what I'm doing. We're going to put that one there. We'll do that. Okay, you can see the two angles pretty good. Okay. And then we need to pull up my reading software. All right. Now I can't see the chat anymore. But what we needed to do is detect. And so the tricky part is to hold this down in the right angle and try to get it to make contact. So I'm just going to press down, and then you don't want to move when you do this. Okay, I got it to detect. And then the other tricky thing is you have to know the number, and I didn't look at that. So the number is it's a 25L25673G. 25673G. 25673G. Okay. Okay, 25673G, and it's going to be this one. Okay, select, read. It's coming down. And I'm not moving, I'm holding my breath. Okay, just gonna make sure we have content in here, and we don't. You see that? See how it looked like it read? It didn't. So we have to add this other little thing to it. We have to plug it in. Sometimes you have to do this. So we'll plug it in. Okay. So I have to redetect it. Come on, dude. Doesn't want to do it. So if I plug it in, it doesn't want to detect. Let me just try selecting it again. I can't see the edge of this. Normally it will show me all of this, but did I select the right one? 25673G. It's the only one there is. Read. That'd be funny if his BIOS is already Fs. Oh, what if someone else has already been doing this? Oh my goodness. His BIOS is blank. Oh God. I think his BIOS is blank. What do you think about that? That'd be crazy. All zeros. I mean, this came from another repair shop, or it's been to another repair shop, and they said that they need to fix it. Swap the TPM. I don't know where I don't think this has TPM per se. I think it's RTT or whatever it is. Use another chip. Yeah, I can put another chip on there, or we can just write a BIOS to it, but I don't want it. Yeah, I should take it off because I don't, in case there is something on there that's not being able to. We can just pull the chip off and then put it into the reader, and that for sure will work. I have this little guy that will hold it. Maybe we'll do that. And then you'll see some soldering. Okay, let's do it, bro. Let's do it. All right, so we have all these connectors over here. What are we going to do about these connectors? First, we'll get this in focus. Okay, so I have, what is that, the Wi-Fi connector, and we have this. And so I'm just going to angle it away so I don't worry about melting all that stuff. I have this little blue pad. Maybe I'll put some Kapton tape on it. Try cleaning the pogo pins. It's not the pogo pins. I mean, it either detects it or it doesn't. I've never seen it like do that and then not work. Why don't you program another BIOS chip? Yeah, I mean, I could do that. I have to grab another BIOS chip off another machine, which we can do that if we want to. If we're just doing this for fun at this point, because again, if the BIOS is gone, then there's no point in working on this because this board is not worth the money. I mean, I can look up how much I sell this motherboard for. I probably sell it for like $100 or something. I mean, literally, I mean, my board repairs are $250, so this is not worth my time. It's only worth it if you're trying to get data recovery in a way. You know, you're trying to get the data off of it. So. All right, air's coming on. So I'm just blowing the air away from this connector. I'm close to this one, so I just put some Kapton tape. It's 2 mils. It's pretty thick. Okay, and the chip is off. Can't we flash a new BIOS? Yes. So the issue I have with flashing a new BIOS on here is if there is data on here, I don't want to override it. I 100% always back up the customer's data on their BIOS, and so I have like every BIOS that I've ever worked on backed up, like all the way down. So. And if I'm ever going to rewrite it, I always have a copy of it. And so if I can't get a clean backup, then I will not touch it. All right, so this little guy, I really like this little holder here. This little guy goes in here. You press it down. You get him in his little home. Make sure the pins line up good. And then when I lift it, it will squeeze on it. And so sometimes it will be just a little off to the side, so I need to slide it over. There we go. Just a happy little BIOS chip. I don't offer memberships yet. I'm working on that. I'm trying to figure out exactly what the membership you will get from it. I hate to enable something where you guys support me, but I guess you are getting the videos, but I'm just, you know, I don't know. It feels weird. Okay, so I have this little guy in here, just this happy little BIOS chip. And okay, this is an Inspiron. It's not going to have a TPM chip, guys. This is, you look it up. It's probably like RTT. It's like Intel RTT, which is not the same thing. Like these XPSs will have like a TPM chip. I can just pull the TPM chip off and move it over. Okay, back to our thing here. And detects, all right. And we are going to select the correct one, which was the 7.3 G? Is it the G? Is that right? Can someone confirm so I don't have to look at this? I can't remember what it was. It's so annoying whenever I forget already. Yeah, 7.3G. You like the movable camera? Yes, yeah, I like it too. It just makes it nice where you can, I like being able to add as many camera angles as possible, as many views as possible. I feel like it adds to the immersion. So we are reading it now. Because when I'm doing these repairs, my whole idea is like, you know, I haven't looked at the machine. I want to go in cold, so I don't want to know anything about it. And then I want that connection, you know, with you, like we're doing it together, right? So, okay, it read. Do we have anything in here? Oh my gosh. Who messed with this? It's zeros. It's zeros, guys. This thing is full of zeros. No wonder it wouldn't turn on. Let me read I want to see who this came from again. Off to the side. Up, Computer Plus in Arizona. So it came from a computer repair shop. So, what do y'all want to do? Y'all want me to find a chip and put it on there and flash it? I'm still not going to flash this chip, just because it's not mine. Let's find a chip. Let's do it. Okay, let me go find a motherboard. A crappy motherboard, because it's an Inspiron. It's like I have bins full of these boards. Why not flash the chip? Because I'm not 100, I mean, it's saying Fs, but again, if this is important to somebody, there's no reason to just say, okay, well, there's Fs on it, let's go ahead and just like flash to it. I can just leave it intact and not mess with it, and then I'm 100% confident that I did not lose their data, or I did not lose their, you know what I mean? There's no point. That's what I'm saying. So that's just not how I operate. I don't just say, okay, well, screw it, I'll just do that. But I can just grab another chip. Does that make sense? Does everyone agree with me on that? It's not my chip to overwrite. If I haven't backed up the data, I should not overwrite anything. Same with like cloning people's hard drives. You know, it's like, if I'm going to clone someone's hard drive or back up their hard drive, if they say wipe the drive, I usually will back up something just to make sure that I make sure for sure that they understand what that means, because some people are like, oh yeah, I don't have anything on there. And then like, wait a minute, I had something on there. Like, well, that's what we're talking about. So everything has to be confirmed. Where is the happy little BIOS chip on here? That's not it. So that's the BIOS chip, it's the wrong style. Yep. I need to find a fresh, brand new BIOS chip. Let me keep looking. Aha. Here we go. This one might be the same machine. Almost. It's similar. It's funny how close these things look. And you're like, oh, it's the same thing. It even has the chip layout right here. But look at the Wi-Fi card. Totally different spot. See? Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi. But it does have the same style of BIOS chip. So I don't know if it's a 256 or not. But and 7.3G. Boom. Got a winner. Chicken dinner. All right, so I guess the plan will be we'll take this one off. We'll put it on here. It probably won't work. They'll probably get the same symptoms, a happy little BIOS. And then we're going to program it with whatever the BIOS programming should be on a 7791. Is that what we're working on? Let's see what board this is, though, because this could be pretty close. This is a M1 VNT. Let me look that up real quick. M1 VNT. That is a 5491. So Dell likes to make them, so 54 would stand for 5000 series 14-inch screen. 7791 would stand for 7000 series 17-inch screen. Same generation though. So the same like year, make and model kind of. It was just like the 3000, 5000, 7000 series just basically says, is it made of all plastic? Does it have plastic and metal, or is it all made of metal? So better construction. And then the second number is the size of the screen. So 14-inch, 15-inch, 17-inch. And this one has a shorted CPU, so we know that we can just take this. And I don't care about protecting anything around here, so we're just going to go in full hot. Full hot. But I will protect my lungs with some air. So this actually may work, which is funny because the boards are so close that sometimes there's BIOSes, UEFI BIOS flashes that are kind of go to multiple different machines. They're the same generation, so. But the thing is that the ME region's probably going to be wrong. And so whenever you have an ME region on these that are different, then you'll get a bad flash code, whatever it is. And so then they have to do a clean ME on it. Oh, JFix has a question up there. Are you sure the main? Oh, yes, I am sure that's the main BIOS chip because it's 256. So there's no other one on here. And so here's his board. If we look around, sometimes you'll have an 80 somewhere. But this is a 256, 32 meg chip. There's only, on these boards, you're only going to have one 32 meg chip or 16 meg chip. And then the rest of them are going to be like, they're usually 80s. Like, let me show you like on a, here's a 9700, right? So this one, flip it over. See if I can find one. So the main BIOS on this one's in the middle. It's a big chip. This one might be even a 512. I can't even find it. Where's it at? Oh, it's right here. I actually have it taken off. So that's the main BIOS chip right next to the EC. And then you usually have BIOS chips, like here's another one, but you see that's an 80. That's 1 meg chip. So 25Q80DV, that's a 1 meg chip. And so that's just going to be for, oh yeah, that's going to be for the Thunderbolt, okay? And then you'll usually have one right next to your PD controllers. Here's another one. Here's an 80 again. You see that? Only 1 meg. HDMI BIOS, yeah, you'll have an HDMI. So you usually have one here in the middle somewhere. Which I've never flashed one of those. That'd be kind of interesting to deal with. But anyway, yes, so am I sure it's the right one? Yes, I am 100%. Okay. So do you think, I bet this laptop though will try to power on, or try to post once we put this on here. I just don't think it will actually post. It'll probably give a post code. That's what I'm thinking. Pen 1, where are you at? So Dell's pretty good at making, Pen 1 marks, but there's no Pen 1 mark on right here, but they have this divot, and that's going to mark which way you put the chip. Oh, yeah, and they also have the Pen 1 right here, this bigger line. So we'll flip that around, and that will be the direction. But we still need to put this in the right orientation. Look, I melted this. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, and look, his RAM's still in there. Let me take that out too. It's always the BIOS. It's always the BIOS. Just a happy little BIOS. Okay. Protected. Good. Good. Just a brand new BIOS chip right here. Are you sure it's the BIOS? No, I'm not sure. Should we put a percentage on this, whether it's going to work or not? Because so everything points to a bad BIOS just because we have the EC chip turning on in the BIOS, EC chip in the PCH was turning on under the thermal camera. So that right there tells us that those things are coming on. Now something else should happen after that, but it's not happening, so it can't run the code that it needs to. Then we have the 3.3 volt power rail, the 5 volt power rail coming up. And then, but those are the only two that we really saw. And then the weird thing that we saw was the 10.8 volts on the charge coil with no battery plugged in when there should be 0 or like 2 volts or something. And then when we had the battery plugged in, it was at main power rail voltage, which was 12.3 or something like that. So yes, I need to get aluminum protection. I know I need to come up with something, but I just end up using, this is 2 mil Kapton tape and it works just fine. I rarely have any issues. So yeah, it will work better, but I don't know. Here we go. But what percentage? I still haven't thought about what percentage we're going to say. So I'm just going to heat this up ahead of time and then we'll set it down in here. I didn't even put new fresh solder on here. Solder. I'll put some flux on it though. Good. Good. 30%? 99%? Okay. 90%? I would run a poll, but I think it would take too long to get it set up. When you guys can just write it in there. Okay. 50-50, okay. All right, so with that all said, and we have Fs, we have Fs on their BIOS. I would put it probably higher in the 90s, probably. 98, yeah. Which way is the correct punctuation? Solder or solder? Then we have this conversation. Yes, I always say solder. That's what I've always said, solder. I think it's the American pronunciation, but it's solder. It just depends on where you're at, right? Okay, we got it cooled off. Let's put our meter up. And we got our power meter. You ready? Look at it pull, do something. It did something for a second. Look at that. The CPU's coming on. The CPU's coming on. Oh, It's always the BIOS. It's always the BIOS. But I did not overwrite their chip, right? So I need to contact that computer place and let him know that the BIOS was blank and that he probably backed it up. So hopefully he can send it to me and then I can mess with it. But the board's working. I mean, we can put it, we'll see if it can post, but I mean, this, it started pulling current. I didn't even have RAM in here, but it started pulling current, and then the CPU got hot, so that usually means it works. So it was a BIOS problem. I mean, on this one, it was a BIOS problem because it's Fs, or Fs means zeros, right? So the BIOS is blank, but it's because somebody else was messing with it. So maybe it was a BIOS problem at the starting, and then it went to the repair shop, and then the repair shop tried to fix it, and then they didn't know they wrote Fs back to it. I don't know. I have no idea. Easy pizza, corrupted BIOS. So let's reassemble it. Windows updates are pushing out BIOS updates. So they started doing this thing probably in Windows 10 for sure when they started doing driver updates. And so now they push BIOS updates out. And you know that screen that says do not shut off whenever you're about to flash the BIOS? It says this is super important, don't turn it off. It doesn't even tell you that before it starts to go into that mode. I did a video a while back where I actually filmed the entire process where I knew this machine was out of date. I ran Windows updates, I had it show up in there, and it said queued for restart. And then it just went straight into a BIOS update. And I've actually seen it where I've pulled a machine, I put a new motherboard. This is crazy. I put a brand new motherboard into the machine, and the first thing it does right when it turns on, it starts flashing the BIOS. Because the Windows was flashing the BIOS before, like it was in its queue, and it probably bricked the computer. And a lot of times it's not worth doing a BIOS repair, or it depends on which technician's working on it. But I've seen people, one of my techs install it, is like, oh my gosh, it's flashing the BIOS. So probably meant that it was probably a bricked BIOS in the first place. The BIOS doesn't work, no touch, rule of thumb. Wait, what? If the BIOS works, don't touch it. Yeah, is a rule of thumb. Yes, that's right. Back it up, actually. What I usually do is I always back it up. You can always go back to the way it was before, but you don't mess with it. First, disable the driver and install updates first. Yeah, that's right. So if you want to prevent Microsoft from auto-installing it, pretty much every month you have to go and check to see if there's a new BIOS update. That's really the only way, because they're always pushing out these critical updates. And maybe, I'm wondering if Microsoft is only installing critical updates. It might be something like that. But from what I've seen is it will also queue through them, which is really annoying, where it's like, if there's version 1.28, then they'll do 128, then there's 129, and then 130, and they'll like actually incrementally go through it instead of jumping straight to 130 if they need to go all the way up to that. So, yeah, I use Linux at home personally. I don't even use Windows. I've always used Mint for years, and then now I'm actually on Ybarra, which is KDE Plasma. I don't know if I like it better or not, but it's working. Yeah, like I guess they could have put a new chip on here. That's a good point, if it was blank. But it seems like they would have wrote something new back on it. The Command Center, Dell's Command Center app is my friend, or it's people's friend. I don't know. Have you ever had Dell Command Center try to find a driver for you? And it says everything's up to date? Well, guess what? It's not. Darn it. I have to put this heatsink on first. What's my daily driver as a machine? So at home I just use like a generic Dell XPS desktop. And then I have an XPS 9500 laptop, which is a 2020 model of the XPS 15s. And then I use, which replaced I had another XPS 15 from 2017, which that one still works fine. And that one I used Linux on, and then my laptop I used Windows on. And then my work computer is just a custom built. It's mainly for rendering and stuff. It's like a 13th gen 13700K. We got everything. What is the charting software called so I can search? What charting software are we talking about? You gave up Windows last year? Yeah, congratulations. I guess you don't use Adobe. Because that's my problem. At work, I have to use a Windows machine because I use Adobe Premiere, and I'm using Adobe Photoshop, and I'm using Illustrator, and like all the apps I use, Adobe Audition. So I never work on desktops at all, ever. Only laptops. That's my company only works on Dell and Alienware laptops. So we stock all the parts for them. It'd be cool to take y'all out into the warehouse somehow. I don't know how to do that, but I have 14,000 square feet with 700,000 parts in there. So to show you around. I'm going to try to do some more like some shorts and stuff for me pulling orders. Because that's mainly where we make our money, is selling parts. How many screws should I put in this before we figure out if it posts? Okay, I got it back together. So we'll use the barrel jack on this. So I'll turn that guy off. And it should power right on right when we plug it in. There we go, 0.6. Did I put RAM in it? I did. 0.66, 0.64. Now it should move around a little bit. So if it's just sitting there, then we are not really going. Okay, turn back off. That's good. And it should come right back on again by itself without me touching it. Come on, you gonna turn back on? Nope, it's not working. Let me plug in or press the power button, see if it does anything different. That's not working. Members only shop tour, yeah. First I have to get some members. Yeah, I will start a membership thing. I wish that I kind of knew exactly what to offer in there besides just, you guys supporting me. I just unplugged the CMOS battery. I want to see if that changes anything. We do have the power light over here now on the side. But it is hanging at 0.6, which is kind of strange. Set up in Australia. Yeah, I mean, I only have one location. Yeah, RAM training takes a little bit of time, or the CMOS reset is really what's happening. It's not really RAM training, but it's reprogramming the EC chip. But because this BIOS is not even the right BIOS, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't work. So I think we might have to program this with a real BIOS. We'll do USB-C now, see if that does it. Didn't we see it go up a lot higher than that earlier? I feel like it went higher than 0.6. But the CPU was getting hot and then I shut it off. So, and if I have the CPU getting hot, then it will pull more current. Yeah, I think this BIOS flash is wrong. So let's find a new one, or the correct one. 7791. Oh, okay. So we'll go. All right. So we're on Dell's site. 7791, 2-in-1, downloads. Drivers, BIOS, and then we're going to do, so this goes to these models. Remember I was saying it goes to multiples? So this BIOS chip that we put on there was a 5491, so it's not in that list, so it's going to be different. We're not going to download the exe, we're going to download which one? This RCV file, which is the recovery file. Now, if you notice, this is only 15 megs. The BIOS chip is 32 megs. So we have about 16 megs, or half the chip is going to be some other regions. And we'll have to only inject the portion of the BIOS that is the portion that we're working on. And I'm hoping that the rest of it's going to work, but we may have to do a clean ME on it, which we probably will do that. All right, so I'm just going to rename that to that. We're going to cut this. I'm going to move it into my BIOS backups. And we will name this Inspiron 7791 2-in-1. Oh, it's not in BIOS backups. That's not where I was actually going to do it. I usually do it in downloads. Here we go. And then we're going to extract this. Okay, there it is. Let me copy the name. All right, so we're going to open PowerShell, and there's going to be a bunch of different extractors. And so if you just search for Dell PSF extract, it's a GitHub thing, and that's what should be the extractor we're going to use on here. I just need to name it correct. Boom, and extract it correctly. And then we can look at the files that it extracted, firmware, and so we have the BIOS regions right there, 16 megs. And here's the ME region right here. And then here is the EC region. So 192, which is actually too big, should be 160 on this probably. But these are the two that we'll probably end up using. We can just manually inject this into the BIOS file. So I'm going to open this, and then we need to extract the data off of the one that we have on this board so we can edit it. So let me turn the screen back on. Let me make sure you guys are with me still. Are we still good? Because I couldn't see what was going on I was on the other screen. Let me just catch up on chat real quick. All right, you guys are just chatting amongst yourself. Okay, so we are going to extract the BIOS off of here. Oh my gosh, it's getting late. I've been here for 12 hours. I am tired. All right. See if you can see that. All right. Sorry, I'm having issues. I have too many windows open. Okay. So this was the same chip, so we don't need to change it, but I just want to make sure we detect it. It is detecting. I'm not going to select it again, and now we're going to read it. And you see what a file should look like? You see all this stuff in here? That's what it should have been. And then we're going to verify it because we don't want it to get a bad read because we might have a bit flip in one area or something, and we might need to slow down our reading speed. So I always read at 30 megahertz, but sometimes I have to slow it down to 15. So what this is doing is it's reading the file again and then comparing it to the buffer. So that was fine. So now we're going to save this into that folder that we created. And we're going to call this original. Okay. And now it is time to edit it. So here's my hex editor I use. It's called Hex Editor Neo. Great, I love this program. I paid for the full license because I think it's worth it to be able to do compares and things like that. And so the way that I do this, I'll get this stuff out of the way and get a keyboard out. So here's the BIOS that we extracted from the BIOS file from Dell. And so this, again, this is only going to be a portion of it. So if you think about it, like Dell's BIOS file is going to be like 32 megs, right? So you say that's the whole thing. Then 16 megs of it, well, it's probably on the bottom portion, it's going to be the actual BIOS, and then you're going to have different regions that are going to be the EC chip and things like that, or EZ region and ME region and things like that. So the section that we have open right now in the buffer or in our hex editor is going to be the BIOS region, and it's 16 megs. And so I'm just going to copy these first two rows, and that way we can search and find that same section in here. And we'll put it in hex and paste. Did it paste it? And there it is. There's that region. So it starts at this area of the BIOS, extracted BIOS chip. And then now we can just select all of this and copy, and then I'm just going to paste it right here. Paste, and then that overwrites all of that stuff in there. And then we'll save as, because we don't want to overwrite it. I mean, it really didn't matter because this is just a donor board, but, and then I always call this new BIOS just so I can kind of keep my, sense of what's what. So new BIOS. Okay. So this could fix it or not. I don't know. So we'll go back to programming it again. Let me check the chat one more time, make sure we're good. We all good? How is the reader able to access the chip's pins when they're soldered onto the board? So did we not look at this pogo pin? Here, we'll look at it closely real quick and then we'll continue. Here's our pogo pin reader. Boom. Right, so this just sits over it and then it pops out, okay? And there's different versions of this. That one, I'm liking this one more these days, but it is a little hard. Sometimes it doesn't work. There's this style too, but these fail. So I always buy a bunch of these because you see how they get all bent up? And so when you start mashing down on them, but these only come out a little bit and they have a piece of plastic that is the shape of the top of the chip. So this is a 5x6 I use or a 6x8. So that's how I do it. We good? Should the EC and ME region be the same? So the ME region is going to be probably wrong on this one. The EC region will probably, I mean, we're going to have to rewrite both probably. But we're just going to start with this because I feel like since the board kind of came on, something is correct in it. So we'll just change this portion and then I'll be here for another 12 hours, right? I should do it all in one run so I can go home. Getting tired, and I got to go home and do more baseboards. I'm doing construction at my house right now. I've been taping and floating and doing baseboards, and right when I get home from work every time. All right, so let's pull this back up, and we just want to make sure it detects. Good. We're going to load our new file into the buffer, 7791 new BIOS, and then we'll just program it. This takes a little bit longer because it's going to erase the chip first, then it's going to write the program, and then it's going to verify it. So there's a little bit more involved in it. Maybe I can pull up the chat while we're doing that. All right. What's my favorite thermal paste? So I use PTM 7950 if it's going to be a gaming laptop. And then I've actually just been using this Arctic Silver. It's fine. It's just to get like a generic Arctic Silver 5. That's actually been perfectly adequate. What's the charting software called for the on-screen voltmeter? So the one that I'm using that is my USB-C voltmeter is this Z whatever, Z Power Z. I have a link inside all my videos to buy one of those, and then it comes with the software. I have to like hold my breath whenever I'm holding this down, because if I move at all, it makes me start over. Just set up a bed. I know. I actually took a 10-minute nap before the stream because I was like so tired. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a little reboot of my own computer here and see if that helps me be able to participate, because I was pretty tired. But I think we've been streaming for almost 2 hours now. Hour and 45 minutes. Excellent. And we got a successful write on the first try. Hooray! Give me some hearts on that one. Okay, so is it going to work? So earlier we did the percentage of was it going to work, but I didn't specify. Was it going to power on, or was it actually going to post? So I was very confident that it was going to power on. Now I wasn't that confident it was going to post. So this time, am I confident it's going to post? No. Yeah, probably 50-50, I guess. Because again, there's the ME region, which ME region is going to be unique to the board itself. So whenever a BIOS doesn't have a clean ME, then it's already been initialized to a certain board. And so just taking a BIOS chip off of one board and putting it in another one, a lot of times won't work. And then the EC, because these boards are different, the EC's programming is probably wrong too. So, but let's just see if it does anything different. So where's our power meter? Power meter, okay. We're doing the USB one. So before it went to 0.6 and just hung, right? 0.56, that's different. I'm not even looking at the screen right now. We're just kind of figuring out if it's doing anything different. 0.61, 0.55. It's moving around a little bit more, I feel like. We could look at the screen. It's a Dell logo. No, it's my light reflecting. And then went back to 0.2, 0.02. So we're going to have to do a clean ME on it. Or I should just download. Let's just get one off of Bad Caps. I don't feel like going out through all this stuff, man. There's no BitLocker keys anyway. I know. This is just for fun, right? This is just because we're doing it together and you guys want me to do it. There's absolutely zero reason I'm doing this. Zero. I'm not getting paid for this. This is just going to end up being a diagnostic fee or whatever it is, or maybe the guy's going to send me the backed up contents anyway. But we'll go ahead and let me just show you how you do a clean ME. If I can stay awake. Pull this back up, and we are doing. So I have to get a bunch of windows open to do this. So we're going to go we'll start out with ME tools. So we're going to open our, ME analyzer is what we need first. So anything that y'all see in here, just search for it on the internet. Don't ask me where I got it, because the internet is where I got it. That's the answer. So ME analyzer, we're going to open that up. And we are going to drop in our extracted BIOS. Actually, we'll drop in our clean one, because we already did that region. So I'll drop that in here. And this will analyze the extracted BIOS and tell us what version of the ME region there is. So this is 14.0.10. And then which version of the flash tool we're going to use, which is version 14. And then what state the file system is on that, and it's initialized. So a clean ME is going to have a configured, we'll say configured, or it might say unconfigured sometimes, but most of the time it just says configured right here. And so that's how you know it's clean. And so, but we want 14. So now we're going to come over here and we're going to open our BIOS tools again. And this time we're going to do ME tools, and then we're doing 14. I think that's the one we wanted. Flash tool. Is it the flash tool? Yeah, this one. And then open that. And then this FIT is what we're looking for. And so we have it open. And then what's going to end up happening here is it's either going to error out and I'm not going to be able to proceed, or it's going to work and we're going to have all of our files separated out just the way we want them. So I'm going to take our new BIOS file that we created. I'm going to just drag it on here. It's going to load and it's either going to error out, it's not. So it didn't error out. So this is exactly what we want. So we're going to come up here. We're going to say build settings. We're going to edit this. We don't want intermediate files. We're going to turn that off. Nope. Save that. The newer one, you don't have that setting on here. Like I think on 15 or 16, it doesn't do this. And then we're going to save the output. We're going to save this setup as, what we want to call it? I'll just call it 7791. And so I'm going to save that XML file and then we'll reload that in a second. So I'm going to close this now. And now we will go back to our flash tool, but now there's an extra folder in here. Name the file, which is this one, right? Is that the one? Yep. So now it's named what we just opened. Okay. So the flash tool created this folder after we dropped it in there. And so if we come in here, we get a decomposed BIOS file or image, BIOS image or UEFI image, right? So now it's broken up in all the regions. And look, here's our BIOS region right there, that 16.384. That's exactly what we injected manually, but there it is. There's an EC region here. It's 448, so we would have to actually edit it and find the area. Here's our ME region. That's what we're going to edit right now. That's what I think we need to do. God, I want to put the EC region in there too. It's just more of a pain to put that in there. But anyway, so we'll just start out with doing this guy. So where was our, here we go. So we have our ME region right here. I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to paste it in here. And then this is the file we're going to replace. So I'm going to copy the name of that. I'm going to put gibberish on there temporarily. And then I'm going to rename this, paste. So now we have it in its place. It is a different size, if you notice, 2921. This is 3164. I don't care. So we're going to close, we're going to just delete that out of there. So now we have the new ME region put in there. And the other thing was the EC region. So this embedded controller region is 192. So in order for us to actually do that, we're going to have to open that, and then we'll have to open this other one, and then we have to find the matching regions. And you can see there's some matches here. The starting matches, but I don't know how far it goes down because one's 400 kilobytes and one's 192 because this one has a bunch of stuff in here. But let's do a compare on it. Like I said, this program has a really good compare. So file compare, and everything's different, but we can at least see what's all this. It's a bunch of crazy stuff inside the EC region. So I don't know. I don't feel like trying to put this in here, okay? So I'm just going to put the ME region in. We're going to flash that back. If it doesn't work, we can just go to bad caps, or we can just call it a night because we just had fun messing with this anyway. We got the power on, right? Does everyone agree with me on that? So that's what I think I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to, we're going to rebuild it with this new ME region. We'll verify that that's the way it is. And then we'll, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yes, I see people talk about this AMI PFAT. So if you're using like a Alienware, then you'll need a few different ones. DJ, give me another donation. Thanks for contacting. I appreciate you so much. Oh, man, you guys are awesome. All right, so we are going to continue editing. Sorry, so I didn't finish our process. We have to now, okay, now that we replace this one file here. Let me close this out because I can't have any of this stuff open in case it messes with it. Okay, so we have all the files in here. This one's been replaced with our other one. We've already replaced this region. So I'm going to go back to our flash image tool. Our Intel flash image tool. And then we're going to open what we saved, the XML file. And that will pull everything back together. And it will rebuild it. And then I can say, create image. Boom. Boom. So now I can close it, and then it created this out image right here. It's a 32 meg file, and that's going to be our new BIOS, or a new image for it that we'll put back on our chip. So what I like to do, again, is I like to name this similar nomenclature, but we're going to name it CleanME. Like that. There we go. And we can flash it back. And this is going to be our last try, and I will call it after this. All right, make sure it detects. Good. Load the file. CleanME. Program. Go. And I'll pull up the chat so we can chat. Uh, 15. Okay, let's see. You guys feel like you learned a little bit of something? I don't know. This is almost exactly like the video I just posted a couple days ago. Is it possible to enable undervolt? I've actually never messed with that at all. I'm glad that people actually felt like they learned something. Somebody hacked the BIOS. Yeah, somebody put a lot of Fs. They F'd that BIOS out. That happy little BIOS. You almost feel like you know how to brick your laptop. How much would you charge a customer if that BitLocker job was successful? So it depends. So like basically I just charge a flat $249 for board repairs in general. That's just how I do it. But if it's an easy BIOS, a BIOS still counts as a board repair. If I have to pull the chip off or do soldering and all that, then I'll say it's a board repair. Or if I have to spend a long time, because sometimes rebuilding the BIOS or doing something. But sometimes it's like, oh yeah, it's a BIOS. I have a BIOS already built. You know, I've created them, and then I can just flash it right on there, and it can be done. And so I'll usually charge the 120 board repair plus like a 79. So it's like $200, I think. But still, you know, I moved too much. Okay, this is what we didn't want, the error. I moved too much. Hold on, I talk with my hands. I don't know if you guys noticed that. So let me try this again without moving this time. Okay. So I guess if you would say it's an easy pizza, then I would charge around $200, and then if it's a regular one, it'd be $250. I mean, Soren charges 40 pounds, but what does that translate out to? Because that's so cheap. Oh, DCV, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm trying to stay still. I need to hold my breath here. Let's flash the BIOS real quick. Just a happy little BIOS. I'm not going to move. I'm staying still. That's like 55 US? Really? Wow. Yeah, I mean, I used to charge a flat rate of $100 for everything for years, and then I just can't. I mean, I guess if I was doing all the work, but I have employees. I have a lot of employees, and I have a big building, and I have, you know, and I also do year warranties, and I pay for return shipping and all this. I mean, there's a lot involved in it. So this is gonna fail again. I could tell. Okay, I'm gonna have to slow. I'm gonna have to put it at the 15. I think 15 megahertz, guys. Plus, is my hands cramping trying to do this. Because if I just don't hold it just right, it will error out. See, it looks like it's working, but it's about to, I guarantee it's going to give me an error. Boop, failed. All right, try it again. I'll use 2 hands, hold it down tight. Nope, air it out again. You don't know, I had to put a lot of pressure on it. That's the thing about these pogo pens is it's easier to just take the chip off sometimes and just put it into the holder, a reader. So I'm gonna have to cover this camera because I have to hold it down tight. Okay, I think we got it going. Okay. Yeah, I need a jig for holding it in place. That is totally up my alley, though. I would totally come up with something like that, but... You're watching me at 1440p at 30 FPS? Interesting. Yeah, I need to stream at 1080p. I record everything in 4K, but I didn't know my streaming was in 4K, and so I don't know why it's doing that. Welcome, you're 2 hours late. Yes, it has. Oh, it's 2 hours in, and we have 637 people watching this. Me hold this in place without breathing. I'm moving my hands. I know. I need to stay still. I can't. Well, the thing is, I can't see the screen, so I have to come back over here and pull the screen back up so I can see what it's doing. Here, so far, so good. And it's starting to hurt, though. Yeah, so this is a 256 on 512 chips. I always pull them off. Always, because those are 64 meg chips and they take forever to program. They're like 5 minutes of holding it down, erasing the chip, and another 3 minutes of doing stuff. So it's these 256 I can handle. No! Oh, God. Oh, okay. Man, that hurts so bad, and it failed anyway. It makes me want to just pull the chip off and put it in the reader. Oh, but I'm exhausted. Yeah, my hands are cramping, and then it's like this, it's sharp on this corner, and you're having to press down, and so it's like, it starts digging into your finger. Desolder it again, I know. I have it installed in here, though, so it's like, I mean, I guess I can solder it while it's... Yeah, pull it. You guys are so convincing. You're so convincing. All right, let me give it one more try, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow down the speed since I'm having issues anyway, so we can put it down to 15, and that will help. And this time I won't keep switching views. Let me just get this where I can actually see the chat. That's the thing I was trying to get to. I want to be able to see the chat. So I can occupy myself. Okay. Can you see that okay? All right. All right, let's do this. Gotta get ready. Dirty words. Yeah, I rarely cuss on stream, especially. Except if I'm at the end of Salem Techspert's video. Did everyone see that? Where he sent me back the screen with a hole in it that was drilled through? If y'all watch Salem Techspert's. So he bought a screen for me. Well, I actually sent him 2 screens, the FHD and the UHD. And then he sent it back with a hole in it. And I was like, what the f... yes, this is an SoC. I call it a SICK 8. It's a SICK 8. WSON is the flat one. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're both the same. I haven't found a difference in whenever I select it. Okay, we're going in. Okay, so detected and program, go. And you see how it just jumped to programming? It means that it already aired out. Because it should do a full erase where it takes a long time. And it just jumped straight to programming, and so we know that this is going to error out. This is maddening. Yes. Yes, here. We'll switch to my other pogo pen thingy. Let me do this one. It's probably because I'm exhausted and I'm not holding it clear, straight enough. Okay, we'll do this one instead. This one you have to line it up yourself. It doesn't have like a self-registering, but it doesn't have as much pressure to it either. Yeah, I should just pull the chip again. This is when it starts getting maddening. And you can see all the little marring marks because of the trying to apply pressure. So anyway, I'm just going to get this lined up like that. Come on, get on there. Let's see if that detects. I'm trying to use the 6x8 on there too, because I don't like using the 5x6 of this other style on this because it slips off easier. I know, you guys are right. I should just pull this damn thing off here. Uh-oh. Said damn. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, we're getting that to detect. Oh, if I can get my screen switched. Okay, that's detecting. Go. Hold your breath. Jack Daniels. I do not drink Jack Daniels. I do drink bourbon though, so give me some Elijah Craig or some Angel's Envy or some, I drink a lot of different bourbons, but never Jack Daniels. It's too sweet. Why didn't I replace the EC region? Because the build size is different, and so I've actually never replaced it in that Intel Flash Toolkit thing. I always do it manually. I have to find the right region, and they were so far different in size. To me, it would be easier to just have the actual BIOS that goes to the machine, because then the EC region would be correct, and then you just have to do a clean ME and a clean BIOS region. But we're basically building a BIOS from a totally different board, piece by piece, which is ridiculous and stupid. And why are we doing this? For fun. Yes, the SOP 8s are the kind of what we have right here, that you can have a little clamp on. Fingers crossed, everyone. We're getting close. So this erase has taken a long time, which is a good sign. And the writing is going. Come on, baby. Maker's Mark's good. I like me some Canadian. Come on. Almost. Boom. Oh, okay. All right. I can breathe. Oh, man. Okay, so again, if this doesn't work, that's it, right? What screen should we be on? Let's do this one. All right, so we're going to go with USB-C. .5. Attention to the stream for education purposes only. That's right. Don't follow anything in here because it was pointless. Because you should have a real BIOS that goes to the machine, not one that doesn't go to the machine. So, machine, it went up to 600 milliamps again, and then went back to 0.02. The end. Thanks for watching. Bye. Yeah. It's probably the EC region. I mean, it has to be. But the board's turning on, right? It is a 7791. Yes, I could have just went to Bad Caps. If everyone doesn't know, if you're ever looking for a BIOS, just go to Bad Caps. A lot of people post them on there. I could have just dug through a pile and probably found one, and then we could have just done it too. But, oh, I know. I failed. An epic failure. But it was fun, right? Yeah. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. I'm going to go home and have some dinner and have a bourbon and put my feet up. Because it's been, yeah, I got here at 7:30 in the morning and right now it's 8:30, so I've been here for 13 hours. So I appreciate each and every single one of you guys, and thanks for supporting me in what I'm doing. And I learn every day, just like everyone else is learning off my videos, I hope. And I hope you enjoyed it. And boom, right? Just a happy little BIOS chip. That little BIOS chip was so happy. Why didn't he turn on? Why didn't he make the thing work? Maybe I'll make a shirt that says, just a happy little BIOS chip. I'm having fun making shirts. So I keep posting more and more shirts, so hopefully you guys will start buying them. What next live stream? Probably Wednesdays is kind of looking like the time. I have to do them at the end of the day when when the business closes down, because I have so many customers coming in and my employees, and the phones are ringing. So I usually start at 6 p.m. Central Time. So Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time is probably going to be more of the norm if we do it on a normal basis. So anyway, where's my business located? Austin, Texas, North Austin. I will enjoy my bourbon and my dinner. Thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you next week, hopefully. All right? Thanks, guys. Bye.